Hey guys, welcome into Rapidkick Reviews. This is the first review on the channel of hopefully a lot more reviews. We picked out a game that just came out. I picked it up a couple of days ago when it released. It took me a little bit to find, but I got it. So we're going to jump into a review of New Gundam Breaker. Now, I was super pumped whenever I figured out that this game was coming out here because I'm not sure that another Gundam Breaker game has. I think maybe one did. I had the first one, I imported it on the PS3, and I really enjoyed the game. So we'll dive right into this one, and we'll see what I thought about it. I do want to explain kind of how I'm going to do the review aspect, the scoring aspect, I guess. This might change. Like I said, this is the first review, so normally you'll see people with a score like of 100 or 5 stars or something like this. I paid $60 for this game, so I'm going to give you a X number out of $60 of what I think I would have paid for this game. Now, you know, a perfect score, it could go above that, but I'm not going to go like, I like this game so much that $120, double the price on it. I'm not doing that. It'll just give you the full feeling of whether or not you're getting your money's worth, if that makes any sense. So we're going to find out what I thought New Gundam Breaker was worth. Let's dive right into New Gundam Breaker. The game starts out very much like your typical Pokemon game or something like that. You're going to be the very best like no one ever was, yada yada yada. I just went ahead and kept the default name for the story for this review. The story is there. I did not pay any attention to it, and hopefully nothing will be spoiled in any of the text you can see here if that is something that you care about. I did notice, however, that the text is very small and it's hard to read if you don't have great eyesight. I wear glasses. My glasses are a year or two old, so they're not in tip-top shape, and I was having trouble reading it, and I could not find an option to make the text bigger. It might be hidden in there. I don't know. The game does feel like a dating sim, though. You got your Doki Doki Literature Club thing going on here, and I can't really get behind that, but at least I have some options. But like I said, I'm not in it for the story. Let's get into the gameplay. Alright, on this first mission here, the first thing I notice is that the sensitivity is awful. When you move your camera left and right, it is very slow and clunky. You have to finish the mission and then go in to adjust it. There's no way to hit start and go into an option to adjust there. You have to finish the mission. You have to go into the mission menu that it drops you in, back out of that, then go into options, and then find the option to change it there. I put it up to 70. That seemed to work a little bit better for me, but 50 was way too slow, especially if you're boosting or trying to go around a corner or something. It just isn't going to happen, and you're not going to see what you need to see in time. I thought I would be a little wise and smarten up to the game and like, well, let's just go into the controller menu and let's see if we can assign it to a button or something like that. And you can't. And you also have to be very careful on that menu, because if you use anything other than your left stick, if you use your D-pad, it's going to assign one of your attacks or something like that to up or down or left or right. And it's kind of frustrating. I did not care for that, and I feel like it's a step back. You've had years of games coming out and you have these options built in. It is nothing new. Why is that not here? You just need to be really careful whenever you go into doing something like that. Next thing I noticed is while I'm playing this first mission, your AI, your partner, her name is Iori, and she is crazy. Like, she's straight out of Higurashi or something, and it goes into one of the crazy scenes at the end of an arc. She is laughing hysterically, and it is mildly distracting. One of the biggest issues with this game, I would have to say, is the locking feature. The locking on feature is a mess in groups or against large enemies. If you get into a group, you're going to be constantly just switching all over the place. You are not going to be able to tell what's going on. Now, if you're on a big enemy, it's going to, if they jump or something, it zooms up with them. So you completely lose sight of your gunpla and you're stuck on their butt or something like that. And it sucks. You cannot tell what's going on. and oh, it is entirely frustrating. Now, if you want to collect things in the game, you have to turn the locking off, and it is next to impossible to defend yourself when you do that, because they'll be coming behind you, you'll be trying to loot a chest to get some of the plastic or something, and you go to swing and you completely whiff the enemy and you get destroyed right away. Your pieces are blowing off. It is very frustrating. If you're trying to defend yourself with the locking off and somebody does come up behind you, maybe you can dash away or something, but if it's a group or a cluster, you are boned. You cannot defend yourself. You are going to go down. Clusters of enemies in this game are a nightmare. It turns into one giant chip paint and plastic orgy that I assure you, you do not want to be any part of. You cannot tell what is happening. The next thing I caught is that you can't aim your gun. It's lock on or bust. You're not going to be hitting the target 99% of the time if you're using hip fire. What kind of game doesn't let you aim? This is one of the most infuriating parts of playing this game, is the fact that I can't aim my gun. You need to be able to have the option to predict and fire where your enemies are going, but you can't. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, how you obtain items in this game is confusing as well. You get to keep what you have equipped in your little item slots below, and if you want to take more back, you gotta fly to this bin and deposit extra stuff you pick up. So if you grab heads or arms or legs or whatever and you don't want to equip them to your Gundam right away or keep them in your little bar, you need to find that little blue bin and drop them in there. Definitely makes the collecting far more tedious than it ever needs to be. And you simply can't drop it into the bin. You can't fly up to it and push a button and it goes right in. You have to hold down whatever button it prompts and charge a meter. If you get hit, you start over. It is pretty frustrating. There are so many times that I had my items chock full of stuff that I wanted to keep and bring back with me after the mission was over, but then I got hit. And the meter starts over, like I said, and often your items will go flying out of you like that. So you have to recollect them, try to dispose of the enemy, and then charge that meter again. It is not a great system at all. Now, swapping out the items on your Gundam, it isn't great either. You push left to right to your new item in your little menu there, and you push up to equip and down to drop. And what I noticed with this is that it doesn't work every time. I haven't had any issues with dropping things, but putting things on and pushing up, it doesn't always put it on. You're pushing up repeatedly and nothing happens. And then out of nowhere, it does happen. I don't know why you have to repeatedly click the button. It should go the first time. I am not sure if there's something that I'm missing there, but it's definitely something I noticed. Now, as you're playing the story mode and through your missions, constant quests pop up on screen and it's kind of annoying. Sometimes cool Gundams roll in and you can bash them up and loot their parts, but the quests are constantly popping up and they're never there for long, it feels like. The objective of the game, from what I can tell, is to finish as many of these quests as possible before your opponent does to get a higher score than your opponent. Whatever happened to kicking the crap out of the enemy and the bosses that appear on stage? It's okay, but I'd rather not deal with it being the main focus. I kind of like the old-fashioned way. One big thing that you will notice in this game is that the frame rate currently is horrible. I played this day one and it was bad. There's tons of lag in this game. You can probably tell just by looking at the footage that I've captured alone. I have a standard PS4, but there's no reason this game shouldn't run just fine. I've read several people state that it doesn't run any better on the PS4 Pro. It could be a really pretty game, but the frame rate really compromises that. Moving to something a little more positive about the game, I know I've been really negative about it so far, and I don't mean to come off that way, but I do want to talk about the customization. Once you figure out how to get your parts, this isn't so bad. Building your gunpla is a blast in these games, and this one doesn't disappoint me on that end. You can gather parts and spiffy up your gunpla over time and paint them up for some awesome results. The color options are good. If you click X on the colored nodes above you, you can drop down into several choices. I can only assume that the mass amount of black nodes below on the little color chart there are unlockable as you play on. I cannot confirm that though. I just assume they wouldn't have all those extra black colors right there that are all the same. You can paint the entire unit uniformly or go into each individual part and get super detailed with your model. The downside of this is in the gameplay, as it doesn't matter much anyway, as your parts are going to get busted off left and right. and you can pick up and attach more parts to your Gunpla in the matches, which you often need to do. Your time spent customizing and making your Gundam look really nice doesn't matter, as you're going to be a ragtag jalopy in no less than a couple of minutes in any given match. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the online. It's hard to review because it's pretty broken right now. It's hard to get into matches with 3/4 being server timeouts on you. I've went in constantly, I've even found opponents, and then boom, server timeout. So when you do get in, there is no explanation as to what you're doing. You're dropped in, and I realized after a few matches that it was like the main game, completing freaking quest. Though you do score extra points for destroying enemies. If you are not leveled up, you are going to get wrecked. I promise you. Sorry for anyone that I played with while I was recording this. Now, a plus is you can get opponent stuff here as it falls off, but once again, it's to the bin. There is a bin on the versus mode, and it moves left and right, just like in the main game. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yes, your bin isn't in the same place every time. After a little bit, it moves across the map, and you gotta find where on your radar it is located to drop things off. And it can be kind of frustrating as you try to fly to it to ditch a bunch of stuff. In the online, you're gonna get anything attached to you or that you may be carrying blasted off of you rather quickly with the more powerful opponents you're gonna be running into online. But still, powerful stuff quick, if you're lucky enough to deposit any of it, that is. Most of my games boil down to me swooping in on parts like a vulture and picking them up to try to build my Gunpla. My final thoughts on this game is that it's a chaotic mess, and it's a bit of a headache that should have been developed longer. If you do want to see more gameplay, follow our Let's Play channel on Twitch, 2dudes_1couch, no spaces, all lowercase. I'll be playing this game for a week or so if you want to see more gameplay of it. Alrighty guys, now it's time to figure out what I'm going to score New Gundam Breaker. Now, I am not upset that I supported this game, and I will continue to support things like this because, like I said, it was really cool that it came out here. But in the current state that it's in, the chaotic mess, the servers, I really need to see if there's going to be some support, or if Bandai Namco is going to work on this game. I really hope they do, because I think there is fun to be had in it. But in the current state that it's in, the time that I've spent playing it, which was a few hours so far, I'm going to give it 15 out of $60. And that is a very generous 15 because paying $15 for a migraine headache at points is a bit much. I wouldn't pay anything for that. But the game, I do think that you can have fun with this game. I really hope that it gets the support it needs. I hope it gets fixed a little bit because the price and score that I gave it could go up on this one. I thought about trading it back in, but I don't think I'm going to. It took a little bit for me to find it, and I did have some fun in this game, and I'm going to keep giving it a chance and really hope that they fix it because I want more games like this to come out. It was super cool that it came out here. I really liked the first one a lot. And I get that it's a new Gundam Breaker. It's a reboot to the series, but why reboot a series that doesn't need rebooting? I never played the third one, but people love that game, and I might actually pick it up because it sounds so cool. It sounds like everything this game should have been, plus a little stacked on top of it. But yeah, that's what I thought, guys. What did you think of the game? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think we should do more reviews? Let us know that too. Did you like the review? Did you hate it? Give us a thumbs down if you hated it, but give us a thumbs up if you liked it, and we will definitely do more. Thanks for hanging out with me on Rapidkick Reviews. Take it easy.